What if the fate of history's most important trial rested on the words of a woman who had survived hell itself? On January 28, 1946, the world held its breath as Marie-Claude Vaillant-Couturier took the witness stand at Nuremberg. She was about to become the voice for millions who could no longer speak. The Nuremberg Trials represented humanity's first attempt to hold an entire regime accountable for crimes against humanity. In the winter of 1946, the world's attention focused on a courtroom in Germany where Nazi leaders faced justice. Among the prosecutors, judges, and defendants sat survivors, ready to testify about horrors most people couldn't imagine. Marie-Claude Vaillant-Couturier was one of these witnesses, but her story began long before she entered that courtroom. Born on November 3, 1912 in Paris, Marie-Claude came of age during turbulent times. She was a talented photojournalist who used her camera to document social injustice and political movements. By the 1930s, she'd become deeply involved in communist politics and anti-fascist activism. When World War II erupted and France fell to Nazi occupation in 1940, Marie-Claude didn't hesitate. She joined the French resistance immediately. As a resistance fighter, she used her skills as a photographer and journalist to serve the underground movement. She helped produce and distribute illegal newspapers that kept hope alive among occupied French citizens. She smuggled information, helped coordinate resistance activities, and risked her life daily. But in February 1942, the Gestapo caught her. She was just 29 years old. The Nazis imprisoned her at the La Santé prison in Paris, where she endured interrogation and torture. In August 1942, authorities deported her to Auschwitz-Birkenau as part of a convoy of 230 French women. She was tattooed with the number 31,655. What she witnessed there would haunt her forever, but it would also give her a mission that defined the rest of her life. At Auschwitz, Marie-Claude saw the machinery of systematic murder firsthand. She witnessed the arrival of transport trains carrying thousands of people. She watched as SS officers separated families on the selection ramp. She saw children torn from their mothers' arms and sent directly to the gas chambers. She observed the daily cruelty, the starvation, the medical experiments, and the casual brutality that defined life in the camp. But Marie-Claude did something remarkable amid this horror. She made a conscious decision to remember everything. She understood that if she survived, she would need to bear witness. She memorized details, dates, and names. She observed the camp's operations with the trained eye of a journalist. She became a living archive of Nazi crimes. In January 1944, the Nazis transferred her to Ravensbrück concentration camp in Germany. She survived there until Soviet forces liberated the camp in April 1945. Of the 230 French women who'd arrived at Auschwitz with her, only 49 survived. Marie-Claude carried the memories of those who didn't make it. When Allied prosecutors began preparing for the Nuremberg trials, they needed eyewitnesses who could describe the concentration camp system. They needed someone articulate, credible, and strong enough to face the Nazi leaders in court. Marie-Claude volunteered. On January 28, 1946, she became the first concentration camp survivor to testify at Nuremberg. Her testimony lasted hours and proved devastating. Speaking in clear, measured tones, she described the selection process at Auschwitz. She explained how SS doctors chose who would live and who would die with a simple gesture. She testified about the gas chambers, describing how she'd watched trucks arrive carrying children who'd been separated from their parents. She detailed the medical experiments performed on living prisoners without anesthesia. Marie-Claude's testimony included specific details that made the horror undeniable. She described the crematorium chimneys that burned day and night. She explained the camp's organizational structure and named SS officers who'd committed specific crimes. She testified about the systematic starvation, the forced labor, and the arbitrary executions. Her words painted a picture so vivid that even hardened judges struggled to maintain their composure. What made her testimony particularly powerful was her demeanor. She didn't break down or become hysterical. She spoke calmly and factually, like the journalist she was. This made her account even more chilling. The courtroom sat in stunned silence as she described atrocities in the same measured tone one might use to report the weather. During cross-examination, defense attorneys tried to discredit her. They questioned her memory and suggested she was exaggerating. Marie-Claude remained unshakable. She provided dates, locations, and names. She described the camp's layout in precise detail. Her testimony was so specific and consistent that even skeptical observers had to acknowledge its truth. She famously stated during her testimony that she felt compelled to speak for those who couldn't. She said she was testifying not just as an individual, but as the voice of thousands who'd perished. This sense of duty to the dead gave her testimony extraordinary moral weight. She wasn't seeking revenge. She was demanding justice and ensuring the world would never forget. Marie-Claude's testimony helped establish crucial facts about the Nazi concentration camp system. Her eyewitness account provided evidence that proved essential to the prosecution's case. The Nuremberg judges cited survivor testimony, including hers, in their final judgment. Her courage in speaking helped ensure that Nazi leaders faced consequences for their crimes. After Nuremberg, Marie-Claude didn't retreat into private life. She continued speaking about her experiences for decades. She became a passionate advocate for peace and human rights. She served in the French National Assembly from 1945 to 1958, using her political platform to fight for justice and commemoration of Holocaust victims. She worked tirelessly to ensure that the lessons of the camps would never be forgotten. Some criticized her continued involvement in communist politics, particularly as revelations about Soviet crimes emerged. This created complicated questions about her political judgment. However, her testimony at Nuremberg and her work as a witness to the Holocaust remained beyond reproach. Her credibility on those matters never wavered. Marie-Claude received numerous honors for her resistance work and her testimony. France awarded her the Croix de Guerre and named her a commander of the Legion of Honor. She became a symbol of courage and moral clarity in the face of absolute evil. Today, her testimony remains one of the most important historical documents of the Holocaust. Students and scholars still study her words at Nuremberg. Her testimony is preserved in archives and used in education about the Holocaust. In an era when Holocaust denial persists, eyewitness accounts like hers provide irrefutable evidence of what happened. Marie-Claude Vaillant-Couturier died on December 11, 1996, at age 84. But her voice continues to echo through history. Her decision to remember everything, to bear witness and to speak truth in that Nuremberg courtroom helped establish the historical record. She showed that one person's testimony can change the world. Her legacy reminds us that bearing witness matters. In a world still plagued by genocide and atrocity, her example challenges us to remember, to speak up, and to demand justice. She proved that even in humanity's darkest moments, courage and truth can prevail. Marie-Claude didn't just survive the camps. She ensured that their victims would never be forgotten and that their murderers would face judgment. That's the power of one voice speaking truth, and that's why her testimony at Nuremberg remains one of history's most important moments.